some problems sometimes happen that I cannot control, you cannot control. Should we give, this is what we offer. Okay, let's start working. If they're not sending or they're not active anymore, sometimes because you're a bit forgettable. This will actually ruin your reputation. So I think this is the biggest one.
You have B2B departments and they are working in B2B, but some of them are successful, some of them are less successful. What do you think are some of the biggest mistakes companies do when it comes to B2B? Hello and welcome to a new episode of Etc. Podcast, where we host insiders to give insights to insiders. And we break taboos in medical tourism no one dare to touch on. Today, we have a very special guest with us.
Today, our guests have more than 3 years experience in medical tourism. A PhD with the finance, started as an HR and shifted to the B2B. Help me to welcome our guest, Manar, aka Maya.
Thank you so much.
Maya, thank you so much for coming. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
And Maya, let's kick things off by asking you, how did you join medical tourism? And more specifically, how did you go to the B2B department?
So for me in the beginning, my background is very monotone. It's just finance and HR. It's very script, numbers, stuff like that. But I've always been interested about like communication with other humans, the people side of businesses. That has always drew me in, getting to know people, their point of views, how do they think, what do they view things. So I think that's what drew me into the B2B. Plus I saw how it was very transactional. It was very... send me, I send you. And I did not like that. I saw that this field needs that human touch. It needs a little bit of humanity in it. So I joined it and it was actually the best decision ever.
Best decision ever made.
Perfect. And how do you find your potential partners?
So I feel like before speaking about finding the best potential partners, you need to do a process before that, which is something I like to call as clinic self-awareness. What does that mean?
Okay.
That means that you as a clinic, you need to sit down and understand who you are. You need to understand your clientele. You need to understand your position in the market. All of that. You need to take all of that into consideration. After that, it's like a filtration process. So for example, if your clinic is a little bit on the higher end price,
of the market,
a little bit, that means that if someone has an urgent thing to do, emergency tourists we call them, that he cannot come to your clinic. If he's traveling on a budget, he cannot come also.
But that's very smart. So basically, you first understand yourself more. So if you are at the higher end, you cannot have partners with those low-budget, all-inclusive vacation agencies, right?
Exactly. So that's the thing. So for example, instead of wasting your time trying to contact them, getting in touch with them, you can focus on what really suits your brand, which is, for example, luxury trip organization, boat trips,
yachts
concierge,
and boats.
exactly, concierge companies, because their clientele or the people that they target already is completely fit for you. You should also, for example, take into consideration the countries that they target. Not all countries can afford the prices that you are offering.
Yes.
True, 100%.
Yeah, so I think this process is very important and saves you a lot of time. This way you work smarter and not harder.
You filter which potential partner is the one. But let me ask you this. What about the onboarding process? Like, how do you onboard these B2B partners?
So for the onboarding process, I always like to have an online meeting. But before speaking about the online meeting, the material need to be sent already. So for example, price lists, a little brochure, the profiles of our doctors.
You send these before
have
the
background.
meeting.
Exactly. So they can review it and already prepare their questions beforehand.
Smart.
So during the meeting, you will not tell me, okay, send me the price list. I will let you know after. No. By the time we finish our meeting, you gave me an answer, and you gave me a starting date, and we're starting right after that.
That's sales technique.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is very important also for you to save time. Again, always with the saving time here.
True.
So when you do this during the meeting, the online meeting, when you have with a partner, the conversation that will be there is just them. They have already reviewed the material. They have questions. So what about this? How do you deal with this? What do you do with this? So this way it's easier to understand them and to
taking all their concerns.
Exactly. Take all their concern and they already have it prepared. So I don't have to wait for them and next time so they can prepare the past one.
Okay, perfect.
Interesting. And the way that we see clinics in medical tourism when it comes to B2B, there are two main components. Number one is how do we find partners, which you already answered on by filtering according to who you are. The second main point is how to retain this relationship. Retention is one of the biggest issues when it comes to B2B.
Agree.
A lot of channels are dead. A lot of partners that used to send patients are no longer communicating with the clinic. How do you make sure that you retain these B2B partners?
I think for the retention, and it's in general for the B2B, I feel like you need to consider it as a relationship. You need to consider it as a sort of friendship. It's not this transactional one. I feel like if they're not sending or they're not active anymore, sometimes because you're a bit forgettable. And you always want to have that connection that, it's this person who does this.
Yeah,
So for example, during the meeting, you can always try to connect with a partner. For example, they're sniffling and stuff. So you're like, oh, you're sick. Actually, this season is very hard. I was sick just last week. Trying to create something to connect on. Because we're all human. We all crave that.
More empathetical
exactly,
approach.
Exactly.
Against his approach.
Exactly. This will make you stand out between all of them of like, yeah, this is the commission we give. This is what we offer. Okay, let's start working. It adds that touch and it will make you
remember you.
Exactly. They always remember you. You're always in your head.
That makes a lot of sense, by the way, because the way that we see B2B conversations happening all of the time is it's mainly transactional and it's mainly about sheets.
Exactly.
This is how much we got. This is how much win.
Yeah.
This is how much your commission
Pay
is.
commission.
It's so boring,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So you adding that human touch to it,
The chemistry.
make the retention more possible.
I feel like it makes all the difference also for you to stay always motivated because, if you're just like sheet fill email, all of that, it gets boring. And I always believed in that saying that says, if you choose a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
True.
I feel like this applies here. If you make it about making friendship, if you make it about knowing how people think and how people works, it will always stay interesting for you. You will always crave to do it. It will be deeper than just like numbers, commissions, pay. I feel like this makes all the difference when I started doing this, when I started implementing this. Even when you leave or when you don't know, like in the future, this partner will always remember you. That you were such a breath of fresh air.
True.
The sea of like, where's my patience, where's my leads? You know?
True. Guys, take notes. This is top-notch B2B management. Really, thanks so much. That's amazing.
Speaking about this, Maya, how do you qualify whether this agency or guider it's worth your time? Let's say, what is your red flags?
I think my biggest red flag, and the only one that I cannot let go of, is a partner who doesn't know anything about the field. He maybe just heard it that someone is doing it, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh yeah, free money." Just
like
open.
owner of hotel.
Exactly. Open ads, and that's it. Get money. I think if you don't know the business, you don't know the field, it's so hard for me also to deal with you in the future. As we all know, we're in the field. Some problems sometimes happen that I cannot control, you cannot control. But if you know the field, you're not going to make a big fuss about it. You're not even going to be bothered by it. But if you don't, you make it a big problem. And
True.
Exactly.
You're going to have flexibility.
Exactly. You have no flexibility. You make my job harder. Plus, it will also make my job harder because I have to teach you the business.
That's the hard thing.
Exactly.
So uninformed partners is a red flag for you.
It's the biggest for me.
True, 100%. Because I think their teaching process, their learning curve is so big.
True. And you have to pass by some difficulties that I don't think they will be able to overlook it.
Can you give us examples?
I think...
Like, for example, what kind of difficulties would an uninformed partner
for example,
not understand?
So, for example, sometimes a patient who sends us his pictures, we know that you can give a treatment plan based on that. But it's not as accurate as if you have an x-ray. So we gave him a price. He comes to the clinic. He gets an x-ray.
Then
price
it's
is
a price.
changed.
Yeah,
exactly.
True.
So
we know this. We in the industry know this 100%.
We all know this.
The struggles.
Exactly. So this is normal for us. If I tell you, you're like, yeah, okay, this makes sense. But let's say this patient cancels. How is this uninformed partner will react? He will say, "Oh, you scammed him. You changed the price on him." This
I
now
will not understand what's happening in the
Yeah.
clinic.
That's the thing. So, and for me to tell him all of this, it would sound like I'm trying to
To get more money.
exactly. I'm trying to lie my way out of it.
Yes, true.
When in reality, we all know that this is happening.
This is the industry.
This is
This
the
is how the
industry. This
industry
is how it
goes.
works. Yeah.
I think we have a lot since other people trying to get the medical tourism in a way. So you may receive a lot of people, they want to send the patient or send some people like to make consultation.
True. I agree, honestly.
And a lot of clinics have to have B2B departments and they are working in B2B, but some of them are successful, some of them are less successful. What do you think are some of the biggest mistakes companies do when it comes to B2B management?
I think as far as the mistakes, I can conclude it in 4 big mistakes.
Okay.
So for me, the biggest one is the lack of honesty and clarity. So for example, you have an agency, you say, okay, we're going to give you 20% commission. Comes time of the commission, their commission is less. And then you say, oh yeah, it's 20, but it's minus this and this and this. Oh, this and this and this is not included.
But you weren't clear about this in the
Exactly.
beginning.
Maybe if you told them in the beginning, they will not agree. But you thought if you put them in the reality of things, they will just accept it. And this will actually ruin your reputation. So I think this is the biggest one.
Okay.
Second of all, I think the turnover, but specifically in the B2B position. So if they keep seeing that your person keeps changing.
The account manager
Exactly,
themselves.
the B2B specialist keeps changing all the time. It may give this impression that you're not stable. There's something wrong.
True.
And even the bond between you and these agencies are
Exactly.
losing again and again.
Exactly.
You know, because like I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but it's very worth mentioning that in B2C, once the sale is made, the transaction is finished.
Yes, but
The
here,
patient comes, does treatment, that's it. Like maybe
Constancy.
aftercare can go in the line and try to get references. But in B2B, the transaction is never finished.
True.
It's a continuous relationship. So imagine building a bond for 6 months, 9 months, 2 years with a partner.
Yeah.
And then the person
Disappear.
changes.
Yeah.
That breaks the trust.
Exactly.
That raises a lot of questions.
And sometimes with a certain person, for example, you might have like a certain agreement of like, I know this agency, he always likes to talk about this one, so I will allow him. But a new person maybe will not
you
understand.
understand
This. Exactly.
their mindset, how they think, how
So-
we made the offer
Exactly.
with them.
And the agency maybe will not be bothered to go through it again. So we're like, let it go.
Oh, I was
don't-
talking with the previous,
Yeah,
he was telling me this, he
exactly.
gave me a permission, he gave me some exception.
Exactly. Also that thing where it's like sometimes some clinics I saw they use this as an excuse or like, oh, this happened. Oh yeah, it's actually that person's fault. Oh, because he left.
Yeah, the blame game.
Yeah, the blame game is exactly. So it's always like someone else's problem and just to go out of this.
So first one is clarity. Second one is turnover. What other mistakes do you see when
Maybe
it comes
having
to B2B
contract
companies?
with the agencies, everything's written with them.
Yeah, everything's written, but sometimes you need to make exceptions. A certain agreement between us of like, yeah, I will. It's okay. I will let you do this. I will
No
not
way about
take
this.
too much.
Like when they says giving a discount, you can also give some exception.
I think the third one, which is also very important, is a lot of clinics will not give grace to the agency. First problem happening, okay, we don't want you. Okay, we're not working again.
I see.
And this all goes back to the part where you don't see it as a relationship. You see it as
a
a
transaction. Yeah.
But if you see it as a relationship, it's like, it's okay. I will let this one go this time. Next time, if I do something wrong, you will let it go. And this is how you maintain it.
True. That's very, very important because again, B2B is continuous retention.
Exactly.
It's not a one-time transactional thing.
Exactly.
So
It's
it's
long term.
mainly the clarity, the turnover, and then having that human connection, right? Like these are the things that you see missing with a lot of clinics. This is why the B2B department is not that much successful in some of these
Exactly.
clinics.
And I think the last one, and it's also, I think you will all agree with this one, is the lack of patience. They can start
True.
a B2B department.
True.
The second they hire someone, they expect patients to be at the door waiting for them. And it's not realistic.
It's need time.
It needs a time, and it maybe like from 3 up to 5 months, because you need to build that trust. There is, I think, 200 clinics just in Istanbul alone. So why you and not other clinics? You need to build that trust.
This is a competition.
Exactly, it's a competition. And agencies, sometimes they may not send you from the first day. They can try you. They see see a lead, send it to you, see the response rate, see the commission time. How are you paying? Are you honest? Does what the patient paid versus what you told me he paid is the same? So all of this, I think, really needs time.
If the patient even happy or not.
Exactly, yeah. So it really needs time.
Well, Maya, let me tell you, companies are so impatient when it comes to the B2B department.
I know.
They open the department, they bring the specialist, and then 1 month later, less than 1 month later, they say, okay,
where's the patient?
How many deals? Where's the patient?
Where's the patient?
Right?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah.
But it takes so much time. It's
does.
B2B, it's not B2C.
Exactly.
A lot of nurturing, a lot of trying, until it happens.
Especially if they think that we are the best in this domain.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we are expecting more and more.
Yeah.
Well, everyone thinks they are the best. So, working in B2B, just like we described it, it's a continuous relationship. And your job includes not only retention, but finding also possible new partners. How can you manage your time with all of this? Like, how can you keep following up with these partners you already have without make them feel ignored or unimportant?
I think
Nice question.
I can give you maybe like my routine during the day.
Yeah.
So the first 20 minutes is dedicated to catching up on yesterday's things. So for example, unanswered emails, leads that needs to be added to the system. Just all of these. This is routine, but it takes 10 to 20 maximum. After that, you can also, let's add another 10 minutes of like, let's say you needed some updates from the sales team. They didn't give it yesterday. Just, hi, can you just let me know this one so we be clear? But after that, I think it's about making the partner feel like he's not one of many. Again, going back to the humanity touch
Yes.
of like each one of them, you might have specific
Special
bond.
treatment for them.
Exactly. So you cannot just like, hi, any patients? No, you're just like, hi, so the patient you sent yesterday, this is what happened with him. Or sometimes
Keep
just
them updated.
exactly. Or sometimes just reaching out with the, hi, how's everyone doing? Today is X holiday here. I hope you're having a good day. So it's just always about, but
Wow. I think no one sends that message.
Follow-up message.
No one
follow-up message.
Like there is always a catch at the end of the message. So just telling them that it's a holiday
Yeah.
or how things are going, it actually builds a very good bond.
exactly. I always like to do it like, let's say every 2 weeks or every week or something. Just checking in. There is no ulterior motive of like, oh yeah, I'm sending you this just to remind. No, it's just, hi, this is this holiday here. So we're resting. I hope you're having a good day, enjoying your family. So I think this also gives that perspective that yes, we are working. Yes, we're trying to achieve almost the same goal. I'm trying to grow my clinic. You're trying to help the patient, but at the same time, we're all human. We all have that connection with each other.
Yeah, true. Personalizing things with these
Exactly.
partners definitely makes up the difference.
Maya, could you tell us more about the cooperation between the B2B and the different departments when you work? I mean,
interesting
the
question.
sales,
Yeah.
maybe the clinic. I think you are connected with all departments right now.
Yes, exactly. I think it's very important to have that connection because you need the sales team because they are the one usually selling the patients. So you need feedback from them. You need updates.
Indeed.
But at the same time, you need to approach it in such a way where the sales doesn't feel like you're watching him. You're standing over his
happened?
shoulder. Exactly. What did you sell him? Did you sell him? It always needs to be again humanizing it, being like, hi, the agency is asking, making it clear that I'm not watching you. I'm not looking over your shoulders. It's just the agency is asking.
Regular updates.
Exactly. Just they're asking. I need to let them know. So just please let me know. And as far as, for example, the clinic. So for the clinic, it's always like after the treatment is done and everything, after all is done, it's just, hi, how was it? Did he have any complaints that maybe I can step in and fix it? Did he have any issues that might put me in trouble or put you in trouble? So we can like work on it very fast. So
I think one of the biggest problems that could happen is you being uninformed. Imagine that you hear something about the patient from the partner
Exactly.
themselves. That would be terrible.
exactly.
So yes, you have to coordinate very well with everyone, and sometimes that coordination can be challenging.
Yeah.
Especially just like you said, when it comes to sales team, you have to approach it with delicacy. You don't want to make them feel like you're over their shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's very important also for their, for example, team leader. If he sees you like, oh, what happened with that patient? He feels like, oh, you're stepping over me.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you need to approach it in such a way of like friendly. That's why you need to have a friendly relationship with everyone. Just to know, I'm not against you. That's true. I'm working with other agencies, but I'm with you here. We're on the same team over here.
Yeah. And to all of those that are listening, to all of our audience, if they were decision makers or managers that actually affect the B2B, what kind of advice would you give them to run their B2B channels in the correct way?
So the biggest advice that I can give is, first of all, to know who you are, to know your clinic, to know your position, to understand what makes you different, what's your biggest selling point, how can we attract agencies, what's the biggest thing that can make me as an agency want to work with you. This, you need to highlight it, you need to understand it.
Very good, very good.
Second of all, I think you need to humanize the process. You need to let go of the transactional, hi, I want to work with you, let's work together, to add that human touch. It's also good for you, so you would not get sick of it. You will not get overworked or just get burned out from it. And finally, I think patience. Patience is the biggest one that I can give.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's patience, because this department is a long-term department. It's not like the B2C where you can expect sales coming in after a month or two, right? It's one that comes with long-term. And just like you said,
research. And
exactly. You have to give that person, the specialist, their space, their time. And I saw this, unfortunately, in so many places where the B2B specialist is under a lot of pressure. They end up spamming the potential partners, right? Instead of forming a human connection.
Having limited authority about the offer, what they are
And
giving.
also the point of knowing yourself goes back, I think, to a book that I read for Simon Singh, Start with a Why. And it's such an important question. Why do patients choose me?
Exactly.
If you ask this to most clinics, they don't have a concrete answer.
Exactly.
Right?
Because we are the best.
Because we are the best, yes. But
How?
learn the real reason why they choose you, and you will be able to form amazing partnerships with potential partners.
I totally agree. And I don't think sometimes you having something different has to be like a big thing. It can be, for example, that you have a specialized doctor that does diagnosis. So this means that your diagnosis will be done faster.
True.
For example, you offer like a coupon for like a spa date or something. It could be
unique thing.
A unique thing. It doesn't have to be this big giant thing.
Yeah,
Just anything that can make
a certificate from an association from the Antarctica. And
Exactly. You don't need that. I don't think that you need that. It just has to be anything that you can grab people's attention with.
Phenomenal.
Well, thank you for this information.
Thank you so much for having me.
Maya, you put the light on so many important topics when it comes to B2B. Thank you so much for joining our episode today.
Thank you so
And
much.
folks, here you have it. This is our episode for today with Maya. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to more about the B2B system and how it runs in medical tourism. Stay tuned for more upcoming episodes where we break the taboos in medical tourism.